live on Facebook, YouTube. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. She's Megan White, lifelong Met fan, Giant fan, Ranger fan, bartender, radio host at 107.1 The Peak, an avid book reader. Joining us today, Megan, how are you? We did it. We finally made it live on the program.
A lot of connectivity and issues, and what an intro.
Yeah.
Thank you for that really nice intro. I feel flattered.
I was getting out of breath there as you do so many things. It's unbelievable.
Idle hands, devil's work, all that.
A lot of people may not know this, but you're half Cuban Irish, right? Your dad and is Cuban, mom Irish. You have a brother as 50-50. You have a brother that's half black, half Irish. You never met your dad before. Tell us a little about that growing up. How was that for you growing up, not knowing who he was, never meeting him?
I mean, honestly, for me, it was just always pretty commonplace. Like, it never occurred to me that was strange until I was like old enough that like I saw other people with like, the full family unit. But my family was always like very supportive and good at explaining like, well, all families are different and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
So it really didn't affect me until I was like a little older. And then I was kind of like, sore about it. But I think that most kids go through that. And, all families are different. I watched a lot of Sesame Street growing up, and that was always helpful because they tell you that kind of shit.
They explain to you exactly what the backstory was and certain things. They're all different.
But for me, it just, I don't know, it always felt normal because that's what I was used to and that's what I came up with. Right. And I was like, my mother was very young when she had me, and she had an older sister and, of course, my grandmother. So I kind of had like that unit of three basically bringing me up.
Right.
And I had babysitters for a really long time. These like nice off the boat Sicilian women in Brooklyn. And I was with them from the time I was like an infant until I was like, I don't know, probably 8 or 9. So, I don't know. I had a lot of people in my life. So it never really like occurred to me that was not the regular.
Right. For sure. How is your relationship with your mom these days? You guys talk? You guys hang out? Speak at all? Is it frigid?
We don't really like hang out. We do talk. We had like I would say our relationship struggled for a long time. I think that mother-daughter relationships are very different from mother-son relationships. So I don't know if like you can relate to this, but I think a lot of teenage girls hate their mothers and vice versa. I'm sure a lot of mothers hate their teenage daughters.
Yeah.
So there was like a long time that we weren't very cool, but now I'm old. So I like respect and understand the fact that, my mother is just a person, not just a person. Like, yeah, she's the person that brought me here and stuff like that. But like, are we best friends? Certainly not. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
We can chat and hang out and stuff like that, but we have like a pretty strange relationship. I would say that we're cool.
Right.
We're not very close.
Yeah. Ever meet your dad? Ever want to meet him? Just one time, just one day, anytime? Or
I feel like when I was younger, I did want that, but I definitely reached a certain age. I don't know if it's just like the spitefulness in me, but that I was like, all right, like, am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Sure.
Yeah, I was just like, all right,
be yourself.
You know what I mean? You're the one that left, so why should I have to like seek you out? Definitely when I was like an older teenager, my family, I don't know that they knew where he was exactly, but they did offer to like help me find him if that was something that I wanted to do. Right. I would say probably like, I don't know, 15, 16 maybe is like when I remember that. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm good. And but I did genuinely feel that way. I still genuinely feel that way. Like I'm in my late 30s. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it would be weird to like, I don't know, have to like connect with a person that I don't know. Like, yeah, I share DNA with.
Right.
But like, apart from that, I don't think we share anything else, know?
Yeah, for sure. Time will tell, right? Never say never. Time will tell. You just never know how crazy life is.
I mean, that's totally true. You know, if somebody were to reach out to me and be like, hey, I'm your biological father or whatever, I wouldn't like push it away.
Right.
But I also wouldn't seek it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. At some point, I mean, 4 jobs, right? From time to time. Why is that? Your work ethic comes from who? Your personality.
Yeah,
who do you take after? Your mom, your grandma?
Crazy? Oh yeah, the work ethic was definitely strong with all these women that for sure. Like
Yeah.
my mom has all. I mean, actually, they didn't really work more than one job, but they all worked in like corporate America. My mom still does. My mom works for like J.P. Morgan Securities. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like from a very young age, like a strong work ethic was always instilled. Like I've been working since I had working papers.
Wow.
So I got like my first like real job was CVS when I was 16.
Wow. Were you a
And
cashier? What were
yeah,
you there?
I worked
Cashier.
there for like, yeah, I worked there for like 2.5 years. I was actually the photo lab supervisor back
Right.
when 1 hour photo was a thing and people developed film, which
Yeah.
I hear the kids are doing again for like the purposes of being vintage and cool.
Right.
So I hear that disposable cameras are coming back.
They're back.
So I do still know how to develop film.
We love the 80s, Meg. Take us back anytime. We love the 80s.
Really, like for real though. It was a simpler time.
Speaking of which, the 80s, me and you talk about this, and then our dear friend Nancy M. She's not a fan of the 80s, but a little bit about you and Nancy. How long do you guys go way back?
Let's see. I think we were 13 when we 13. Met. So wow. Really funny story though. I was actually friends with Nancy's sister.
Okay.
Before Nancy and I became friends.
Right.
So Nancy has a bunch of sisters, but her older sister Laura and I worked together at co-op camp.
Okay.
Which is still very much a thing here in Mamaroneck. And we were like counselors or, I think I was a counselor in training because I was 13. I don't think you can be in charge of children at that age. But yeah, so we were like the 4th grade counselors. And I remember there was one night that like we wanted to have a sleepover and we called Nancy's mom. Well, Laura called her mom and, asked if I could sleep over and stuff. And Giovanna, Nancy's mother, shout out to Giovanna, was like, yeah, like, you guys and Nancy can all like hang out and sleep in the living room.
Right.
And then Laura, I love you so much. No disrespect, but Laura wanted to watch Friends and pass out mad early. And once she passed out, I was like up with Nancy and I was like, do you want to put on Seinfeld? Are you a Seinfeld fan? And she was, and we became fast friends. And here we are now. 25 years later, it's 2.5 decades. No big deal.
It's amazing. You guys are like pretty much sisters. Ups
basically.
And downs, fights, whatever, everything worked out. And here we are 25 years later. It's just amazing how you guys became friends. Amazing. I didn't even write that down today. I just clicked in my head. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to bring this up today.
Yeah.
So we all know how you guys became friends. That's amazing. No, I know you and your grandma, your late grandma, you guys were very close. You guys watched baseball together. Is that how you became a lifelong Met fan through your grandma?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was born on October 15th of 1986. I believe it was game 5, not of the World Series, but of the and my mother told me this story quite often that I just disconnected. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll get you back there. We'll get you back on. We'll get you back on here. Here we go. Yeah, we're good.
Anyway, that she had my grandmother barred from the delivery room because the doctor that delivered me was a Mets fan. And so my grandmother kept like running in with game updates. My mother, notoriously not a sports fan. So my mother was like, keep her out of here. But yeah, I was born, like a week or so before they won the World Series.
Wow. So it was destiny from the
technically, I was alive for the last series win,
Amazing. Amazing story.
I hope that the next World Series win happens in my lifetime.
Yeah, for sure. Fondest memories of your grandma growing up. What was she like? How was she?
Oh, I have so many. I mean, to be honest with you, my grandmother was as much of a shit talker as I am, as my mother is. That stuff is hereditary for sure.
Yeah.
But she was a very, polite person. Like all the people at like the stores, the bodegas, all that stuff. Like the diner that we used to go to all the time. Like, she was like on a first name basis with everybody.
Wow.
And I don't know, she like, I'm not like really a church person anymore, but like we used to go to church every Sunday. I went to Catholic school when I lived in Brooklyn, and we used to go to church every Sunday. We used to go to the diner afterwards. She took me to a lot of baseball games.
For sure.
I've been to like a lot of games. I remember one fun story that I do tell often about my grandmother.
Yeah.
I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 6. Yeah. And we went to see Sesame Street live at the Garden. MSG. And our seats were like on the floor.
Right.
And we're like walking with the usher, my grandmother and I, and the usher. And I like, I don't remember this because I was 6, but my grandmother told the story an awful lot. And I like stopped and touched the floor.
Right.
And they were like, what the F is she doing? You know, the usher and my grandmother like, what? And I was very excited because I was touching the floor that Patrick Ewing played on.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
I don't know. Yeah. It's funny that you say that, like, you know, what, like, am I upset that I didn't have a relationship with my dad growing up?
Yeah.
And I feel like a large reason that I'm not is because in so many ways, my grandmother kind of like fulfilled that role.
Yeah.
Because like, same like when kids, you know, are like, oh, like my mom said, no, I'm going to go ask my dad, or vice versa. Right. I would do that same thing with my grandmother.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted something and my mother said no, I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to go ask Annie. And
she would always
very,
yes.
very rarely said no to me. Like she said no a lot in her life, but to me, very rarely.
Who was her favorite Met back in the day? Her favorite Met?
You know, I don't really know, actually. My favorite Met was Mookie Wilson.
Mookie, okay.
So I imagine that I got that from somewhere.
Right.
So, like, it's very possible that that was her favorite Met, and I kind of just stole it.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't really know. I know she was a big Keith Hernandez fan.
Keith Hernandez.
I've got a Keith Hernandez hat. I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah.
But my grandmother really, like, talked a lot of shit about the Mets her whole life.
It's a love and hate.
Like, we're big Mets fans, but like every other big Mets fan, she's like, these son of a bitches, you know, like there's always a problem. So as much as she loved the Mets, she really felt like they could be doing better most of the time.
First time you went to Shea Stadium was when? Memories of Shea. Any crazy stories at that old ballpark?
I was in Shea Stadium before I was a year old, actually.
Wow.
I was like an infant at Shea Stadium. I do remember that, like, my grandmother's office, like, they used to go, I don't know to how many games, but they would go in the summertime, and we would always sit in the upper deck.
Right.
And like, I don't know if you remember that Shea was like colored. It was like
red,
green, blue, orange.
Yeah.
And she taught me from like a very, very young age that that's where the real fans sit. The real fans are in the upper deck. And it's all those like rich, pretentious people that don't even like baseball. That's who's in the field seats.
So when you go to like Shea and Citi Field, do you normally sit up there, or it just doesn't really matter to you at this point in time?
I mean, I do just like to be in the ballpark. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now that I'm an adult, I'm a little bit of a pretentious asshole. So I would really, I really like those field seats. You know, if they're available to me, I'm gonna take the better seats. I'm gonna take the better seats for sure.
Which one do you prefer? You prefer Citi or Shea? Because I think a lot of people say Shea was a dump, but it was like our dump, right? A lot of Met fans.
It was our dump. Yeah. It was our dump. I prefer Shea, I think, just for nostalgia reasons.
Right.
But I also call Citi Field Shea. I don't think I'll ever not call it Shea. I know that it's Citi Fields. Like, I know that on, on an intrinsic level, but I'm going to call it Shea till the day I die.
It's sort of like the Mario Cuomo Bridge, right? We just call it the Tampan Bridge, right? We're never going to call it like the Mario Cuomo
I'm
Bridge.
Never going to call it the Mario Cuomo Bridge. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the other one, the Triborough Bridge. The Triborough Bridge is something too.
Yeah.
What's that? Like the RFK Bridge?
RFK Bridge? Okay. Yeah.
It's the Triborough Bridge. I'm going to call it the Triborough Bridge because that's what I grew up calling it.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit of off air before we came on live about your grandma, how much you miss her, how much she meant to you, and you still kept her, which was like an amazing story. Like her urn is still with you.
Yes. Her ashes are actually over my bed in the window, which, like, I don't know if that's weird. A lot of people have told me that that's weird, but there's not a window on the other side of my bedroom. And I just feel like she would like to be near the window. Yeah. So there's an urn with her ashes above my bed. You can think it's weird if you want. And I have it's like a little pill container that's a keychain. And I filled that up with some of her ashes. And I do bring that to all the Mets games. I feel like it's good luck.
Yeah.
And I feel like she would like to be at the Mets games. I originally filled that up because I wanted to like spread some of her ashes at Citi Field or Shea.
Yeah, or Shea.
And I don't know, it just like felt really weird to do that because I was in a stadium filled with people. Yeah. And I didn't want to just like drop her out into the wind. And, you know, somebody like was like, what's that? Like,
yeah, what is that? Yeah.
My grandmother by mistake. Yeah. So I wound up just keeping her. And she's like, that little thing that I have of her ashes is in my car. It just like stays in my car at all times. And if I'm going to some kind of sporting event, I usually take it down and bring it in with me.
Your guardian angel for sure. For life.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of times that I should have died and didn't. Yeah. And I think that was 100% my grandmother.
Well, your car flipped over, right? Like multiple times. I'm like, how did you survive out this?
I did flip a car over. Yeah. I still, that still really bugs me out because I wasn't fucked up. I wasn't drunk. They assume that I fell asleep at the wheel. And I was like on my way home from the diner with to-go food, which is not a very cool story. Mm-hmm. And it was like right up the block from my house. I like drive past the place all the time. And it was like, I don't know, 2 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
And I like walked away completely unscathed. I had like a little cut like on the top of my head.
Right.
Which is wild because that means that probably my head hit the ground or something like that. I had my sunroof open and I had no seatbelt on, which is not safe. Definitely wear your seatbelts. But yeah, sunroof open, no seatbelt on, car upside down.
Yeah.
And I clearly lived to tell the story.
It's amazing. I mean, you love cats as well too, right? So you probably have 9 lives and your grandma watching over you all the time.
I would imagine. I feel like I'm more like a cockroach than a cat. Like, you know, I'll survive the nuclear holocaust probably. Like, can't get rid of me if you tried.
Thoughts on the Mets. They usually start off hot, then they kind of nosedive, and you know, it's like an historical thing, right? It's like they start off really good, and then by June, July, you're like, here we go. Same old Mets.
Just knock on some wood.
Yeah, but why do you think that is with the Mets usually before last season happened?
I mean, historically, my whole life, it's always been a bullpen problem. It's always been a bullpen problem. Injuries. I don't know if you were there one day that I was chatting at work with a bunch of our other Met fan coworkers, and we're like, you know, this is really great that he's spending all this money. Like, is he going to spend some and like invest in the bullpen?
Yeah.
Hopefully. So, I mean, we'll see. You know what I mean? Like we say this every year. We do say this every year like clockwork, but I really feel like this is our year. I feel like this is going to be the one. I feel like we got it this time.
Last season, you're like, here we go again, same old Mets. And then like the magical run happened. How surprised were you by that run, Meg? I mean, that was amazing to see how you guys just took the Major League by storm.
I was at that game. I was at the game that Lindor hit that grand slam.
Wow.
And I'll never forget that ever in my life.
Yeah.
I still like, I got goosebumps right now thinking about it because it was, it's not like something that you forget ever. Like I will never, ever, ever forget that. I was definitely a little tipsy, but I still will not forget it at all. It was like that. It was crazy. It was like, very, very, very cool to be in the stadium for that.
It was like big hit after big hit, and you guys almost went to the World Series. Like it was, that was an amazing, amazing run. I was happy to see you guys were happy too, because you know Met fans are just like doom and gloom, and it's like blah 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 blah. And then I was happy to see you guys make a run last year. I really was.
Well, we were happy too, and I don't know that I can speak for all Mets fans, but I absolutely rooted and cheers. They won the World Series. I'm sorry. I know you're a Yankee fan. I was actually with Yankee fans when that game happened.
Yeah.
And I was in Brazen Fox in White Plains with Kathy and Robert.
Right.
And in a sea of Yankee fans, I was like, let's go, like screaming. I was getting a lot of death stares.
A lot of flack.
Rightfully so, I guess, but you know.
Yeah. Then this offseason, you guys pretty much stole Soto away from the Yankees. Were you surprised by that? I mean, how surprised were you by that? Shocked?
You know, I'd heard like rumblings about it.
Yeah.
And I was obviously very excited. I wouldn't say stole, by the way. I wouldn't say stole. He seemed to come willingly. I think him and Francisco are buds, you know, so he seemed to be hype about it. And I was excited, but the whole time I was like, are we gonna re-sign Pete Alonso? Like, we better still sign Pete, because that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I know he keeps talking about like he's got money and he's not done spending money and et cetera, et cetera. But when all that was going down, I just kept thinking like, okay, well, we're going to sign Pete too, right? Like Soto's great.
Right.
And Soto's been putting up some real big things in this spring training season.
He has. Any pity for Yankee fans that say, you know, hey, these guys, you know, you got Soto now. Any pity for Yankee fans at all?
No. I have never, and I will never have pity for Yankee fans. That is not something that is in my genetics. Actually, going back to my grandmother for a second, she had like a plaque in our house. It was like a real legit wooden plaque, and it had like the Met logo on it.
Right.
And it said, I root for the Mets and for whoever the Yankees are playing. Like, I don't know. That's just how I was raised. That's how I grew up.
Right.
Plus, you guys are really like, you know, you celebrate pretty loudly, you Yankee fans. So, you know, I've seen the Yankees win a bunch of World Series.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel bad for you guys. I don't feel bad for y'all at all. Not even a little bit.
He's got this 5-year option, right, where he can leave if you guys don't win a World Series or may not go to a World Series.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully
what do you think?
Would
that consider be a failure if you guys don't make it back to a World Series? Maybe win a World Series in the next 5 years. You could see Soto leaving and going somewhere else.
I think so. I think that would be pretty shitty. I don't know if I would like consider it a failure per se, because, you know, baseball's a team sport. So it's not, you know, like we're like resting a lot on this one man.
Right.
Which is, you know, like no pressure Soto or anything like that. But I mean, I don't know if you saw his first. Yeah, but his first at bat, he hit a home run.
I saw that and I was very upset about it because I was just like, man,
did you see? I think I actually sent you this video where the like guy was talking shit. Like,
I saw that the other day. Overrated, overpaid, and then hits a home run next inning.
He hit that ball right to him.
Right.
I was like, oh shit. Okay, that seemed purposeful. That seemed really purposeful. So, I mean, I don't know. I would hope, though, that the man has some loyalty, but I guess we'll see. You know, I don't know. I'm not a baseball player, so I don't know how that shit works, really.
Right.
I like to watch baseball mostly because I like to talk shit and because I understand the sport. You know?
Right. Yeah. How much pressure is it to win and win now for the Mets? Is it a now win thing? Like, we got to go back to the playoffs. We got to go far in the playoffs, farther than we went last year. How much pressure?
Would imagine so. I would imagine that there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not only like coming from me, like a lifelong Mets fan, but they're, you know, the Met fandom has really like grown into something different than it was when I was younger.
It's definitely real now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like when I was younger, it was almost like uncool to be a Met fan. You know what I mean? Like we were the notorious, like, I'm not going to say losers. I won't say that, but underdogs, I guess.
Underdogs.
And I don't know. I feel like I see a lot more Met hats out there than I ever have before.
Right.
And maybe that's because people bandwagon and whatever, but like, I don't care. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I like seeing the blue and orange out there.
Are the Mets the little guy in this town or the Yankees the big brother? What do you think? It's 50-50.
I don't think that I don't know. I think that there's this kind of like city rivalry.
It is.
With the Mets and the Yankees. Like, I don't know, maybe we're like cousins through marriage or something like that. Because like, I don't really know any Mets fans that would like happily root for the Yankees. Not like real fans.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know people that like aren't huge baseball fans that are like, you know, I just want New York to win or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know any real Mets fans that are like, yeah, let's go Yankees. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think happen. I don't really know where the rivalry started, and maybe it was because Met fans were sore about watching the Yankees win
all the
year
time.
after year.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that 2000 Subway Series, like, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we could have been sore about,
right?
But
yeah,
I think that's a real thing. Like, I would never ever root for the Yankees. Never ever in my life.
What are your expectations for the Mets this season? How many games are you planning on going to? I know you're going to opening day, which is very cool.
I am going to opening day. Yes. So excited. Less than a month.
Yes.
Although the Yankees opening day is this month, right?
March 27th versus the Brewers.
That's right. Are you going to opening day? You are, aren't you?
Yes, I'll be going. Yep, for sure. After that, I don't know. We have a lot of injuries.
Yeah, well, we'll have to go to another Subway Series game this year.
In Yankee Stadium. In Yankee Stadium, though.
We can go to Yankee Stadium. Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay. I think that Citi Field is superior, but
food-wise, yes, food, better food.
I mean, way better food. I feel like it's cheaper.
Yeah.
I do understand that it's more difficult to get to, like from where I am anyway, like from Westchester. I got to cross a bridge and shit. I don't have to cross the bridge to go to Yankee Stadium, so that's nice. But, you know, I don't really ever hear anybody say wonderful things about the South Bronx. So I don't know, you know, no offense, but I don't think it's that cool. But yeah, I would like to go to a bunch of games, you know, as many as possible.
Right.
And I have high expectations, but I have high expectations every year.
Okay.
Every year I have high expectations. I feel like I have higher than usual expectations
this year,
just because of how we performed last season,
right?
And because the Soto and just, you know, a lot of others, like, we're looking good.
Yeah.
Again, this is something that we say every year, but I really feel like this is gonna be
the year.
I really feel like this might be the one. So
better season, Mets Yankees over under. How many wins for either team? Mets Yankees 90s ish.
I was gonna say 99. I don't want to be like greedy and say over 100 because I feel like that might be like an unrealistic expectation.
Okay. Aaron Judge number.
I would. Oh, right. Yeah, that's fair. I would love the 90s. I would love the 90s.
90s.
Just like I love the decade. You know what I mean? Who doesn't love the 90s?
Yeah. Who's your favorite Met of all time? Any favorite Met players of all time? You got a couple or
Mookie
just
Wilson,
one?
For sure.
Mookie Wilson.
I should have gotten it out. I have somewhere in my house the photo, the still of that ball going through Bill Buckner's legs, and it's signed by Mookie Wilson and Bill Buckner.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
I think I just liked to chant it as a kid.
Yeah.
Like when they're at the games and they would all be like, Mook. I think I just liked that.
Were you a big like Piazza fan? Any big Piazza?
I was.
Yeah.
I was. My grandmother met Piazza at a spring training game. Yeah. I don't know how many years ago, but she had good friends that like I remember from growing up in Brooklyn that like wound up moving down to Florida. And like they didn't live in Port St. Lucie, but they were real close by. So my grandmother used to like travel down there for the spring training games so that she could go catch a couple games. I have a picture of her with Piazza somewhere. I'll show it to you.
Amazing. So the Mets win a World Series in your lifetime. You hope, you pray. What would you do? Expectations. What would you like? How would you celebrate? Where would you be? Like, any thoughts about that?
You know, honestly, I don't know that that's something I've ever considered. I definitely will celebrate.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't lie to you. Like, I feel like I'm probably going to be in shock when it happens.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's just something I've always wanted to happen.
Yeah.
And at least in my lifetime has not yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I imagine I'll be as obnoxious as the celebrating Yankee fans. You know, maybe worse, honestly. Maybe worse.
Parade, the whole nine.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course I will go to the parade. Of course. I went to the Ranger parade when they won in 94.
That's amazing. Very amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I had the like Stanley Cup, poster on my wall.
Well, back in the
with
day.
Mark and Adam, and
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are banged up, man. I know you don't feel sorry for us. Stanton's banged up, Louis Heal's banged up, Cole's out, Tommy John's surgery. So my expectations after opening day for the Yankees is just like, meh. I'll support them. I'll cheer them, obviously, but
that's your boys. You have to.
I mean, yeah, good and bad. You have to stick with them. I think maybe 90 plus games ish if they're lucky.
You're talking about they're banged up, and you're still talking about 90 plus games.
I would hope so.
That was my high expectation. That was like, all right, I think we're gonna have a good season. I think we're gonna do really well. I think we could get into the 90s. And you're like, we're like shit right now. A lot of surgeries. Everybody's banged up. So probably only like 90, 95. Like, fuck you. Like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I mean. But this is why I don't feel bad for you.
This Yankee hatred, is it real hate though? Like, it's real hate, right? Is it like
no, of course. I mean, like, yeah, it is real hate. Like, I still will never root for the Yankees. Do you remember Dan, my buddy Dan that worked with us at Cake for a hot second?
Yes.
He's a big Yankee fan. And like next time you see him, ask him about this. He has the ugliest fucking hat I've ever seen in my life. He has a royal blue hat with an orange. It's the Mets colors. And I was like, that is blasphemy. How dare you? I would never rock a navy blue and white Met logo hat. I wouldn't do that. It's never. Blasphemy. I do. No offense to you, because I love you so much, which it took a while. It took a while, Ken, for us to get to this place, but I'm so happy that we did. I don't know. I think I hate Yankee fans more than I hate the actual Yankees. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's
Juan Carlos Stanton never did anything to me, so I got no bad blood with him. But Yankee fans, however, have been a pain in my ass my whole life.
She's Megan White, lifelong Met fan, Giant Ranger fan, bartender, radio host at 107.1 The Peak. You love your Giants, your beloved Giants. When did you start watching football, and why are you not a Jet fan?
So many people ask me that. And it's really funny. My mother is a Jets fan.
Is she really?
She's only like recently become a Jets fan, like in the past, like, I don't know, maybe decade. I don't know. We just like, my aunt was a Giants fan growing up. My grandmother, she was a Giants fan too. Like, I don't know. We're not a huge football household.
Okay.
Like, my grandmother's sport for sure was baseball. I like hockey a lot too. I've always like watched football, but I've never been I've never been into football the way I'm into baseball.
Okay.
I can tell you like more stats about baseball in general. The only reason I keep up with football, to be honest with you, is because I'm a bartender. Yeah. Like, I work on Monday nights. I work on Thursday nights. I work on Sunday mornings. So it behooves me. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It behooves me to know like what games are on and what's happening. But I am not a huge football fan. Okay. I don't know why we're not Jets fans. I guess you can only take so much loss in one household. So
you got to share the wealth, right?
Right, exactly. So, it would just be, I know there's a lot of Mets Jets fans out there.
Yeah.
And I hope that they're all okay, because that's a lot of loss. That's a lot of loss for one person to deal with.
Giants, is kind of hard watching the Giants now. They're brutally bad.
Oh my God. That's another reason that I'm not super into football. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Are you happy for Saquon? I mean, he won a championship with the Eagles. Are you happy for him, for Saquon? Sad to see him leave.
I am. And I won a bunch of money because of him. So extra love him. And I rooted for the Eagles because of you. So nice. I was like, I was at home like, fly Eagles fly, right? That's what we say and stuff.
That's it. That's what we say.
Eagles fans, they seem like a fun time.
Yeah, those guys are a fun
real fun time. Those Philly fans.
Yeah, for sure.
I know they're the worst, and I can
you can relate to that, right?
For sure.
Giants are going to be good anytime soon. What do you think? 5 years, 4 years, 10 years from now?
I mean, you'd have a better idea than I would, but I would say at least 5 years based on the performance of this past season.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I mean, maybe you can like rebuild the entire team, right?
Get lucky.
So
For
it
sure.
could,
For sure.
this could come back to bite me in the ass. They could win the Super Bowl next year. Like, I don't know.
Are you a big Eli? Are you a
but
big Eli Manning fan? Toss on Eli. Love him, hate him.
I hate him. I don't know why. It's not like it really has nothing to do with his playing.
Right.
I just he just bothers me.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So does his brother. Their commercials piss me off. I don't know. I just don't.
But he's kind of snarky, like obnoxious, like you are a little bit, in a good way, good fun way.
Sometimes that's like a clash.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. But I've never met Eli Manning. I'm sure he's a pleasure to be around. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. But no, I'm not a huge fan.
How much do you dislike Cowboy fans on a scale from 1 to 10?
It's pretty high. It's pretty high. I feel like Cowboy fans are like Yankee fans, to be honest with you.
Is it Cowboys Yankees or Yankees Cowboys?
I hate Yankee fans the most still, definitely. I do still hate Yankee fans the most. Right. But I feel like Cowboys fans are pretty bad too.
Yeah,
they're pretty
up there. Yeah, for sure.
I remember as a kid, like, I actually don't even remember his name, but there was like a kid in my class that was a big Cowboys fan.
Right.
Like, he's always just so obnoxious, like as obnoxious as the Yankee fans, I feel like.
Yeah.
And so maybe like that one kid put like a bad taste in my mouth forever. But I feel like a lot of people share this sentiment about Cowboys fans in general.
Right. For sure.
I don't know about Texans, period.
Yeah, they were good back in the 90s. They haven't gone like so far to the championship game in about 30 years. So wacky owner, kind of crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're so celebratory about.
But every year they're going to win the Super Bowl. Every year they're going to do it.
Right, exactly.
But, yeah. I know how much you love your Rangers. I do too. I became a fan back in the 90s when I first came to this country, like 94-ish, 93, 94. That Stanley Cup team was just amazing, and just to see them win the championship. Since then, they went back to a couple finals, but they haven't won. Share us your thoughts on the Rangers. Anytime they're going to win again, Lord Stanley, ever again? The 90s, take us back to that parade. You were there.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually met Mark Messier a couple times too.
Yeah. Like
recently in the past, like, I don't know, 6-7 years. And he's such a nice man.
Right.
I was in second grade and I was a huge Rangers fan. I had like the starter lunchbox and the jacket and all the things. And my grandmother, of course, took me to the parade.
Yeah.
And I remember like bringing a sick note to my teacher, the day after, and she took it out of my hand, and without opening it or anything, she was like, "You weren't sick. You were at that Ranger parade." Because I mean, I did wear it all day, every day. My cat is like,
"Hey, buddy."
But yeah, so I do remember it being wild. Like I remember I was with my grandmother and her friend Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Ellen Garland. She's my Facebook friend, so maybe she'll see this.
Yeah.
And I remember like we were in, like a bar or restaurant or whatever. I was like having a grilled cheese. I'm sure they were having some beers. Yeah. And I remember they kept covering my eyes
the whole time.
All I remember was like, because like there was like some rowdiness
going on. Yeah.
I just remember they kept like leaning over and like physically covering my eyes. So I was like, all right, I guess this is not for children.
That team was just amazing.
It was a fun time. That's the only parade I've ever been to. Well, because there's never been a Mets parade for me to go to. And I didn't go to the Giants parade.
Okay.
I would have, but I just like didn't. I'm sure I worked or something.
Yeah. I mean, that team was like Adam Graves, Leach, Richter, Zudov, Messier. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a team quite as that Met. That
we definitely won't. I also met Adam Graves at the Cheesecake Factory.
That's amazing. Really?
I don't know if you remember that.
I think you remember telling me that story. I believe so. Yeah. I believe you told me that story. Was it Brian Leach, Adam Graves, and Messier? Who was there?
At the Cheesecake Factory, it was Brian Leach and Adam Graves.
Wow. I don't know what I would do if I met those guys. Just amazing. Those stories back in the day.
They were super, super nice. And I can't remember. I think it was Shahid was opening the bar.
Right. He was opening that day.
And we were just like talking.
Right.
And I think it was him that said like like, man, you look really like a lot like Adam Graves. And he was like, yeah, well, that makes sense because I am Adam Graves. Yeah, but they were really, really nice. Drinking Mick Ultras.
Mick
Ultras. Good sportsmen should.
Wow. Just simply amazing.
And Mark Messier I've met several times at the Capitol.
Yeah.
He's like come to a bunch of shows, and he is so nice and so pleasant. And like, obviously people come up to him all the time. Sure. Like, oh shit, you're Mark Messier, and like want to take pictures, want autographs.
Yeah.
And every single time he's happy to do it.
Yeah.
He took a selfie with me. He's like, really, he's happy to do it. He's a really, really nice guy. But you know, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadians, well, I mean, I guess like right now is not a great time, but Canadians historically are nicer people than we are.
For sure.
Although again, maybe topically right now is not a great time to talk about how nice Canada is.
Yeah. Last Ranger game you went to, how was that? You been to any games recently? Been a while.
I feel like it's probably been like, it's definitely been a few years.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
I want to say, I think it was the year before COVID was the last Ranger game I went to. I wanted to go to a Ranger game last season. Mm-hmm. Do you know how much those fucking tickets are? Like, it's crazy.
Expensive.
Like,
yeah, playoff tickets, forget it.
I went to playoff baseball games.
Yeah.
I went to playoff baseball games. Those Ranger tickets are insane. Insane. Yeah. I remember like looking one day because I was like, oh shit, they're playing on Friday. Like maybe I can go. And the tickets were like $250 a pop. And that was not for good seats. And it was not playoffs. It was not anything
regular season game
special or exciting. It was just regular season. And I mean, I know it's the world's most famous arena, but like,
MSG.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
For sure. So no championships. So since '94, we're still waiting for that parade again. That team is so special, so great. Thoughts on fighting in hockey? You for it or you're against it? Not so much.
I'm so for it. I feel like that's the whole reason I enjoy hockey. I feel like it's the reason I like hockey. I don't know. Have you ever heard of the show Shoresy?
I've never heard of it before. I think you mentioned it to me a couple of days ago as you were leaving. But I did.
I did. Well, it's like a hockey show. Shoresy's a hockey player, and they really just like exploit that trope in a very funny way. But I don't know. I feel like that's the whole fun of hockey.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't think that you guys should just go out there and throw gloves down immediately and whatever. I guess I could go to a boxing match, but like, I don't know. I just think it's fun. I also think that hockey is a really, really, really difficult sport because like ice skating.
Yeah.
Ice skating is its own sport.
Yeah.
Ice skating is its own thing. So you already have to be proficient in a sport to play this sport.
For sure.
So I don't know. But yeah, I'm all for the fighting, 100%. I don't know a hockey fan that would be against that.
Yeah, those fights are ridiculously crazy. I mean, how cool is the Winter Classic and the World Tournament, right? We just saw that USA and Canada. That was crazy, right?
Oh, yeah. You saw those fights?
Oh, my goodness. Like the first 6 seconds, it was like glove sticks down. They were just fighting each other. I'm like, this is crazy.
That's what I was thinking about when I said that. Like when you're like coming in and just throwing gloves off immediately.
Yeah.
My cat really wants to be involved, just so you know.
She's hijacking the show.
Yeah, she wants to be part of the podcast.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that shit was crazy. I didn't even know about that. I didn't know about the World's Classic or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah. Whoever came up with that concept, good for them. That concept is working and it's great. Everybody, it was like it seemed like a Lord Stanley Cup was being played. Those guys were really, really into it, you know, in February. It's crazy.
100%.
Yeah. And the Winter Classics are great too. Outdoors, the whole nine. That's just fantastic, fantastic time. So now you're a bartender, server. Which one do you prefer? Your first bartending job?
I do prefer bartending. But I think it's just because I've been doing it for such a long time.
Okay.
I don't think I'm good at serving. I don't think I'm as good at serving as I am tending bar. I've picked up a couple serving shifts, like
you have
in the past year.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, like I kind of think I'm shitty at it. I don't have tray muscles anymore. I have like bottle muscles, not tray muscles.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just have always felt like it's a very different vibe. Like when somebody sits at the bar, like you're sitting at my bar.
Right.
But like if you're sitting at a table, it's like your table.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
a good
feel
way to
like it's
look at
just
it.
like a different vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, I do serve tables, like wall bartending.
Kind of have to be like more personal with the table, right? And then the bar guest.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think it's the opposite, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think that I'm able to be more personal and more real with bar guests
The bar guest,
than I
yes.
am like tables.
For
You know,
sure.
and
For
tables,
sure.
it's more of like the kind of like customer service, I guess,
Okay.
where you're like, because again, like if you sit at my bar, you're sitting at my bar. But when
Yeah.
I come over to your table, it's your
Right.
table. So it's just like a different vibe. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, you don't work in the industry as long as you and I have
Yeah.
without gaining the ability to like read people.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that every table is like this,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, I think tables require a little bit more professionalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the bar does not require that,
You can
which is
more
why I like it better.
be yourself for sure. Looking back now, any advice you would give to your younger self? Looking back.
Oh my God. I don't, we both have to go to work, so I don't think we'll
Yeah.
have time for that. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a lot of advice for younger Megan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like don't even want to say this, but like one of the things that I would advise younger Megan is like to be careful about getting stuck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's really easy to get stuck in the industry that we are in.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there are so many advantages. You know what I mean? Whether it be like your flexible schedule or your ability to make money quickly. You know what I mean? Like we can always, bartenders, servers in general, wherever you work, you can always like pick up an extra shift or two if you know what I mean?
Correct.
So I actually warn younger people that I work with about that. I don't personally feel stuck. Right. I don't think that like 9 to 5ing, if you will, is for me. I don't like that. I don't like the like corporate vibe. The radio is really great. I enjoy the radio very much. And I don't think I would have the opportunity to do that if I worked a normal like 9 to 5 job.
Right.
So, although maybe, I mean, I guess I'm on air at night, but still, I think that is definitely one of them. And I would probably tell myself to invest in the stock market at a younger age. I do now, but you know, I feel like I could have started sooner.
Yeah, that's some good advice for sure. Biggest tip being a bartender was how much you ever got being
biggest
a bartender?
Tip?
Yeah, biggest tip you ever got.
I got $500 once, but I mean, you do pool it with your other bartenders.
Right.
So I don't know that I like got to keep that whole $500.
Right.
But that is probably like the biggest singular tip that I have ever like personally received. I got $100 tip last night.
Did you really?
Yeah. Wow. It was from one of like my friends that I used to work with at the Capitol, and I argued with him and I was like, please don't do that. But he's actually a bartender at the Plaza Hotel in the city.
Right.
So, you know, the biggest tips always come from other industry people.
Yeah, for sure. We know how it is. And so we always show love for sure. What makes a good bartender? You ever judge other bartenders when you go out to eat or whatever the case may be?
I've never not judged another bartender. I can't go anywhere without judging the bartender. And there's a lot of things that make a good bartender. At the top of that list, the ability to multitask, definitely. Like if you can't make a drink and have a conversation simultaneously,
right,
bartending's not for you. That's not something you should be doing.
And as people in the industry, we can tell when someone's weeded, right? We just know off the rip, right?
100%,
we know.
100%. But especially like because I've worked at the Capitol for so long now, I can't even go to concerts without judging the bartenders.
Yeah.
And like if you remember my drink because I tipped you well, like immediate 10 in my book. Yeah. Which has happened to me many times.
Many times. You know? Yeah.
A lot of places are cashless now. A lot of places are like card payments only. Mm-hmm. But like I try to always bring cash for tips because I know that shit's obnoxious. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, like, I'll remember your drink if you tip me well.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that is definitely the mark of a very good bartender.
Yeah.
And again, like, if you can't do something while you're having a conversation,
Right.
pick
Yeah.
rocks, like, get out of here.
Yeah.
You're not very good at your job.
Craziest bartender stories working over the years. I know you got a bunch.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's so many. There's so many. Actually,
Yeah.
it's funny. I was serving this really, really cool couple last night at Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
And they were asking me, they were like, have you ever had to like cut people off and like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
So often. So much more often than you would even
Imagine.
think.
Yeah.
Like we work at a corporate restaurant. So I feel like the general, I don't know, thought is that that never happens there.
Yeah.
But like, you know how it is. People get rowdy. People get crazy all the time, everywhere. Doesn't matter where you are.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been bartending for an embarrassingly long amount of time, as I like to say. Mm-hmm. And I've only ever had to follow 3 people out to their cars.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just a personal bias, but I think it's real wild when I have to cut somebody off or like get crazy with somebody at a corporate restaurant, you know? Yeah. Like there's kids in the booth behind you eating chicken fingers and sides of fruit and you're getting crazy. There was a time at Cheesecake that we had to call 911 because a physical fight broke out.
In the bar?
And yeah. Wow. This was probably like...
That's before my time.
8 years ago? 8 or 9 years ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And this dude was like a regular, quiet, nice guy, like didn't even drank soda, came in, got like one of like 3 or 4 different dishes. And I guess like the other dude, I can't remember if he was with a man or a woman, but there was another guy who was like cursing and being loud. And the regular asked him to like, you know, keep it down, stop cursing. And he actually even said like, you know, there's kids here. Right. I don't know if there were kids present like in the bar area, but like you are in fact at a restaurant where families come often.
Right.
And I don't know really what was said between the two of them, but it like came to blows and it was a little crazy. Wow. There was the time that Coach was there, luckily, and that dude was like vaping at the bar.
Yeah.
And I told the dude he couldn't vape at the bar.
Yeah.
And it became a whole thing. And then he was like trying to fight Victor. And Coach was like, we could take this outside. You know what I mean? It was crazy. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I'm very lucky. I feel like I have to knock on wood.
Yeah.
That, you know, nothing apart from like me having to tell grown adults to get their shit in check. That's usually the worst. I'm always flabbergasted.
Right. By it.
You think you like get used to it after a certain amount of time, but every time people like act crazy, and don't get me wrong, like I've been incoherent, blackout drunk many times in my life, but I think I'm still polite to the bartenders. I think I'm still probably a good bar guest, even when I'm blackout drunk. I think that is my
your go-to.
That's like my normal. That's my baseline. Thing. That's my baseline. Is like polite to the wait staff always.
Always, yeah. Thoughts on being a bartender? The ups and downs of the business. You're tired, legs hurt, shoulder, right?
Oh God!
But you have to put the smile on every single day. It's grueling behind you because you can't really show emotions back there, but you're hurting sometimes, right? In that well.
Oh yeah, 100%. That well, particularly. I don't remember your friend's name, but your friend that referred to that as Vietnam.
Yeah.
That is true.
Rob Cruz. Shout out to Rob Cruz. Yeah.
Rob, 100%. That is absolutely true. I've worked at a lot of bars and a lot of like different places, and there's nothing like that bar specifically.
Yeah.
I've told everybody that I've ever trained at Cheesecake that like if you can bartend there, you can bartend anywhere.
Right.
Like New York, you know? It really is because the volume, number one, but the amount of recipes and syrups and mixers and, you know, the fact that you're doing, I don't know, 25 things at a time at any given moment, it is really a lot. Although I do think that one of the pluses is if you're not careful, you can definitely get fucked up by it. My shoulder was definitely fucked up. But I think that in general, it kind of keeps you in good shape.
Running back and forth. Yeah.
I think the job is so physical that as long as you like make sure to like stretch and hydrate and things like that, that like it actually keeps you in better shape than like, I don't know. I couldn't sit at a desk all day. There's no possible way. I'm sitting here. What are we talking for an hour? I've moved so many times. Like I can't, and that's just me. Like I can't really like sit still like that.
Right.
But I do think it has a lot of pluses. Like I was saying before too, like the flexibility of your schedule, the ability to make money quickly if you need to, and the fact that like you can, especially if you work at a place like Cheesecake, or I'm sure many corporate restaurants. Like I used to bartend at Applebee's too.
Yeah.
Many moons ago. And it's similar. It's not as hectic or it's not as much stuff as the Cheesecake Factory, at least when I was there.
Right.
But it's still a lot. You know what I mean? It's still a high volume and like specific recipes and this, that, and the other thing. I've worked at private restaurants and like, same, but it's nice because it's a trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you, I don't know, go to trade school and you learn to be like a plumber, like you can go be a plumber anywhere, and bartending is the same. Like you can go bartend anywhere. Yeah. I could move to a different country and bartend if I wanted to.
For sure. It just sticks with you. How hard is it to turn it off when you go home? Do you turn it off? Like it's just like, all right, you're still wired and ready to go.
Oh my God. It's actually really hard to turn it off. It's like really, it's hard to turn it off. It is like, people say that to me a lot because I mean, we don't even work particularly late. Like we close at like last night, for example, I was probably home by like, I don't know, maybe like 11:15.
11:15.
Like
wow.
I walked out of work at 11.
Wow.
I made great money, and I don't know. I do always compare it to people that work those societally, like, I don't know, the stereotypical hours, the 9 to 5 thing.
9 to 5, yeah.
Because like when people get out of work at 5 p.m., I don't think they're like going home and going to sleep by 6.
Yeah.
You know, like people are always like, well, why don't you just go to bed when you get home? And I'm like, because I just got out of work. Like I need to like let my brain chill.
Yeah.
Let my body chill.
Still
I usually
wired.
eat after work. Like, I don't know. It is like kind of hard to turn it off. Although I feel like sometimes you just like sit in the car.
Yeah.
For like a minute.
You got to decompress, woosah, bring it down.
No music, no nothing. Just like sitting and existing.
Yeah. Right.
That definitely happens, at least to me, a lot. Yeah. I don't know.
Tough.
It's hard to turn off. I don't think it ever goes off, really.
Yeah, really doesn't. Last time you had a cheese mare was when? It's a real thing. I know it's a real thing.
I know it's a real thing.
We all had those at one point in time, right? All of us have had those at one point.
100%.
Yeah.
My friend Matt Perello texted us recently, like Nancy, Megan Carey, myself, that he'd had a cheese mare, like, you know, the day before. And he hasn't worked at the Cheesecake Factory in probably a decade. So I know that it's a really real thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think I smoke too much pot to remember my dreams or nightmares. So I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you the last time I had a cheese mare. It was definitely a long time ago. But for me, it's like it's a living nightmare. It's a waking nightmare. I'll probably have one in real time tonight when we're there. So, you know.
We talk about decompressing, getting away from the job and stress and pain and aches and whatever the job brings with us. Traveling, you love to travel. What's your favorite destination so far you've ever been to?
I don't know. That's a hard thing to answer because I feel like I've been to a lot of really cool places.
Okay.
I think the prettiest place I've ever been was Negril, Jamaica. Ironically, I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Thailand. I've been to a bunch of places in Europe. I've been
Jamaica.
To most of the Caribbean. I think that's the prettiest. That's just, in my opinion. My favorite, like, I don't know. I'd love to go back to Thailand. I don't know if the fact that the White Lotus this season is in Thailand is influencing that statement.
Number one destination in the world, Thailand right now. Yeah.
It's a really cool place.
Yeah.
At least coming from here to go there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was really dope. I would like to go to other places in like the Southeast Asia area that I've not been. Like I want to go to Bali. Malika's in South Africa right now.
Yeah.
She's sent me some pretty dope videos.
Yeah, the lion on the side of the road, and it's pretty cool. The elephant's walking in a pack. Yeah, like crazy. So bucket list of places, right? For sure. Asia, right? For sure.
I'd really like to go to Japan.
Yeah,
wow. That's on my bucket list of places I haven't been.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Thailand, though, it's like a really long flight. It's a really, really long flight.
Yeah.
I don't think that you should be able to book those flights from like laying on your couch. You know, I booked my flight to Thailand. I think I probably was horizontal. Like I was probably laying on my couch.
Wow.
And that's a really, really long. Oh,
flight.
Sorry.
Really long.
That's
flight.
a really long flight.
Wow.
I don't know how to prepare for that.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot. Like we had a layover in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And so from JFK to Hong Kong, it's 19 and a half hours.
My goodness.
Yeah. So we took a red eye. It left like late at night. I stayed up like the night before, didn't sleep very much. I drugged myself. I like drank like a glass of wine or a glass of whiskey more likely on the plane. And I was like, I'm going to pass out. Like, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to sleep on this flight. And I did, probably like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours into the flight. I like knocked out.
Right.
And I woke up at some point and I was like, nice. I slept so well. Probably only have a few hours left. And I like looked at the little plane map.
Right.
And there was still 9 hours left on the flight. But I had slept for a full like 8.5 hours.
Jeez.
Like it's a long
That's a long time.
That's flight.
A long time.
It's a long flight. So my only thing about traveling to places like that is like if you're gonna take a flight that long, you gotta stay for a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I could have stayed in Thailand a couple more days. I think we stayed for 12 days.
12 days.
12 or
wow.
Yeah, I think it was 12 around there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like when I do go to Japan, because I'll get there.
Eventually, yeah.
Probably like at least 2 weeks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't travel that far away for, 6 days.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy. That's too long.
Yeah.
Being in the air to like stay someplace for less than a week. Like absolutely not.
You can't do that.
Can't do it.
Any crazy travel stories over the years? You usually mellow out on the plane. You prefer like window, aisle, middle seat?
I'm a window. I do like the window. Yeah.
Okay.
I get a lot of mixed reviews about that, but like I'm pretty little. I'm not like a huge person.
Right.
So I'll climb over you. If you're sleeping next to me, like I will climb right over you to go to the bathroom. I've straddled strangers to like get out of that window seat. For like flights as long as places like Thailand and shit like that.
Right.
I think it's worth the extra leg room.
Yeah.
I think it's totally worth it. And I'm not a big person. I'm 5'4".
Mm-hmm.
How anybody that's 6 feet tall travels on planes ever, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like if I can't have my legs extended all the way, I'm going to get upset at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to get upset at some point.
Especially traveling those long hours. It's just ridiculous. Now, you're not a suitcase person, right? You're like, why is that? No patience for it? Like, you just got to go? Like,
it's mostly the patience. Yeah. I mean, like, I have a suitcase. It's just like the carry-on size.
Right.
You know, I have like a wheelie suitcase, but it's like not the kind that you have to check. I'm not a check bag person. I don't want to have to wait for the bag.
I gotta check my bag. I gotta put like everything in there. Big suitcase, carry on, book bag. That's just me. It's a lot of work though. It's a lot of work and waiting and
I could argue that it's even more work to get all that same shit into my carry-on suitcase because
how do you pack? Is there a way to your method or your madness? How do you pack your clothes in there?
100%. I roll. First of all, I roll the clothes. I don't fold them.
Okay.
I recently got packing cubes.
Okay.
And I got like compression ones that like zip that are supposed to make your clothes smaller.
Right.
I don't know that it's that helpful, to be honest with you. I really I think the packing cubes are definitely overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that. Yeah, I don't know. There's not, other than like rolling my clothes. Also, my clothes are kind of small.
Okay.
I'm not like, you know what I mean? So I'm lucky in that aspect that like nothing is huge. Like if you have to like bring a lot of warm clothes somewhere, then you're getting into a pickle.
Right.
Like jeans and stuff like that obviously take up more room.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like for like Thailand, for example, you know, it's fucking hot there.
Yeah.
So like we're bringing shorts, tank tops, leggings, dresses, like nothing that takes up a whole hell of a lot of room. Correct. And you got to utilize that personal item. Got to utilize that as well.
Yeah.
Like for sure. Got to put some extra clothes in there.
Yeah.
I have checked bags. I've been forced to check bags. When I came home from Portugal, they made me check my bag and I was livid. I was like arguing with this poor woman at the gate. There was another flight that I was on recently where they were like making everyone check the bag and you have to pay at the gate and they take it from you at the gate. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think it really is just like my impatience because like, I don't want to wait for the bag. Yeah. I want to like when the plane lands and you guys let me off, I just want to like grab my shit and get out of there.
Go.
I don't want to have to go to the baggage carousel and wait. I don't like it. I don't. So if I can avoid doing it, I do. I don't like doing it.
Best time to book a trip? What day of the week? Is it a Monday? Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Why is that?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but it's like flights are usually cheaper. Everything is usually cheaper. Tuesday, always Tuesday. Like I'm not even kidding. You can like check this out. You can
Google it and whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, maybe we shouldn't tell everybody that though. You know, if the secret gets out, maybe everybody's going to be booking flights on Tuesdays, and that's going to be detrimental to us. But in my experience, Tuesdays are the best day.
Any advice for first-time flyers? What would you tell them for the first time?
I don't know. It's hard. Like the first time I was on a plane, I was 18. Right. And I was so scared, you know. I think it's like one of those things that obviously you have no control, you know what I mean? But planes take off and land every day, thousands of them. Yeah. So statistics, I would just like go with the odds, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like Hunger Games style, the odds are in your favor, you know. It's really unlikely. I know planes have been falling out of the sky left and right, but still it's pretty unlikely.
Right.
And then like, you know, God forbid, like, I don't know. It's hard to think about that because I've been on so many planes that I don't know. I just look at it as like the same, like getting on the Metro North.
Yeah.
You know, it's more annoying for sure. It's like, I think it's annoying.
Yeah. Being up there, you have no control, like you said, right? You're just up
there. Yeah. And it's just like, you're stuck with these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
God forbid you get like annoying people or smelly people on your flight like that.
You ever had those? Any fights ever broke out? You ever cursed somebody out on a plane or nudged them a little bit?
I've nudged people for sure.
Kids kicking the back of your seat.
Nudged people. Like, don't you dare try to like get this armrest from me. Absolutely not. I've never cursed anybody out.
Okay.
I've had to speak aggressively to people.
Okay.
But you know, maintain some degree of I don't know. Like
professionalism.
Yeah, sure. We'll go back to that. Where, like I don't feel like I need to curse at you to express that
what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking here. Yeah, for sure. Your love for cats, how did it all start? Any love for dogs, by the way? Or just morely
Of course I have love for dogs.
You do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. I love all the animals.
Okay.
We had a cat growing up. He wasn't nice. His name was Buddy. He was my aunt's cat.
Okay.
He was not nice at all. But I don't know. I just think cats are cool. Cats are just kind of like, I'm going to chill here and do my own thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I also think that, like...
Yeah, there she is. Yeah.
She's, like, talking shit this whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear her. But,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that the difference between cats and dogs is probably like, you know, dogs love everyone.
Yeah.
Like it's not, it's pretty commonplace for a dog to get excited to see you.
Who socializes more though? Like cats or dogs? Who socializes more?
Dogs.
Like... Okay, dogs.
Sure.
Dogs
I think so. I mean, that's my opinion. I think that dogs are more social. I think dogs are more friendly over under. And I think like with cats, you kind of have to like earn their affection.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's really like my cat's not nice to everybody. She's not physically aggressive or anything, but she will talk some shit to you.
Yeah.
And like if she doesn't like if you sit near her and she doesn't want to be sitting near you, she's gonna be like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, that's
like, I'm gonna leave here. Yeah. I don't know. I just I think there's something about winning a cat over.
Yeah.
that is not nothing.
If you were a cat, what would you be? What color would you be?
I am a cat. I do identify as a cat. I don't know. I'd probably be like a tabby cat. I'd probably have like a bunch of different colors.
Yeah.
I'm really pale, so I don't know. Maybe I'd be like the floof, but like with some stripes in there and stuff.
Yeah. What's her name? What's her name, by the way? What's her name?
Her name is the Floof.
The Floof.
On her vet records, it's Florina the Floof White, like a wrestler.
Oh, nice.
Right,
nice.
Yeah, she just had her quinceañera.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. 15.
You may have noticed that she does not have eyes.
Yeah.
I have her eyes taken out a couple years ago.
Right.
James DeLuca always asks me about that. He's like, does your cat still purr? Does she still like, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She lives a pretty good life, I think.
Yeah.
I'd love to come back in the next life as a cat, like as a domestic house cat, not as like a street cat.
Right.
That has to fight for food.
Yeah.
But like as like a, a white lady's cat. I'd like to come back.
Speaking of domestic, I mean, the atmosphere in Puerto Rico, right? There were cats everywhere. What were you thinking when you saw that? Oh my goodness, right?
I kept thinking that none of my friends that told me about how great Puerto Rico was told me that San Juan was just littered with cats. Cats everywhere.
Everywhere.
Literally.
Yeah.
I donated money and I fed some of the cats.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I would definitely get a cat from Puerto Rico. Although like they're chilling. Like, I don't know, that nobody seems upset. Everybody seems like they're
just up and about.
Living their good life and having a good time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like big cats too.
Yeah, big ones.
Like all the lions, the tigers,
the
all
bears.
that stuff. I am a dumb white woman though. Like I think all the animals want to be my friend. I think I'm like fucking Snow White or something. So if that's how I go out, then that's how I go out. Like if I get eaten by a tiger, I feel like there are worse ways to go. At least I'm feeding the ecosystem.
There you go. Why do cats like boxes, right? They like boxes, but they hate Christmas trees, right? Why is that?
I don't know. I know a lot of cats that love Christmas trees.
Okay.
This one does. She'll go sit under the tree.
Really?
They like to get in the tree. I don't know. I feel like a lot of cats like Christmas tree. I don't know why they love boxes so much, but they really do. They just like, maybe they like the way the cardboard feels. I don't know. They just think it's really cool. Even the Floof with no eyes really likes to sit in a cardboard box. Her Chewy box came yesterday and I opened it up and I like left it on the floor.
Right.
And then she was sleeping in it. I couldn't take it out with the recycling.
Oh,
I'm
my
not gonna
goodness.
Take her out of the box.
Right. No, just leave her. Let her do her thing. Yeah.
So, but I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like why they do that.
Yeah. Favorite cat movie? Are cats afraid of water? Or is that a thing?
My cat does not like water. I think that most cats do not like water. I've seen these videos out there where people like give their cats baths and shit.
Yeah.
I've never had that experience. I've never had a cat that was like super cool with being put in a body of water.
Never.
And I've had like a bunch of cats over the years.
Right.
So I don't know like how these people are doing that. I guess if you like do it from a young age, then maybe they're cool with it. But the Floof doesn't like it. The Floof does not like it at all.
Yeah.
So
okay.
My favorite cat movie, I don't know, probably like Garfield.
Garfield was cool. He was cool, man. He was cool.
I identify with Garfield a lot.
Yeah.
I like Garfield a lot. Garfield's like
I
feel like that's probably what I would be if I was a cat.
Right.
You know? Like a lazy POS. Like, I'm gonna eat and hang out and like torture this dog.
Yeah. That's amazing. Garfield, great show and cartoon. Any advice for somebody adopting a kitten for the first time? What would you tell them?
Maybe you want to adopt his brother too. Definitely adopt. Always adopt the animals. I would say with a kitten, you got to like keep them contained for a little while. Like keep them contained for a couple weeks, like in a crate or a cat carrier or something like that. And just like welcome to your new life. because you're gonna love it. This cat's gonna be your whole life now. You're gonna like live and breathe for this animal. But I'm sure it's the same with dogs. Like, to be honest with you, I feel like dogs are a lot more maintenance. Like, if I had a yard, if I had like a place to like let a dog out to like run around and whatever, I feel like I'd be a lot more inclined to have a dog.
Right.
I'd love to have a dog at some point in my life, but I think it's like unfair because I work really strange hours and stuff. And like, you know, animals, just like people, like get on schedules.
Right.
Like, I'm a psychopath about feeding my cat.
Yeah.
Like, I try to feed her the same time every day, you know, like
Round
they
the
get
clock,
used to it.
They get used to it. Yeah. Creature habit.
And same with the dog. Like, you got to take dogs out. You got to let them walk around, like burn off that energy. Not to say that you don't have to take care of cats. You do.
Right,
I just feel like dogs are kind of like higher maintenance. And I don't think I could do that for a dog. Otherwise, I'd have a dog.
Right. For sure. It's fair enough. Fair enough. We always hear these like stories, right? Like the crazy cat lady with 14 cats and all that thing. Would you ever consider yourself like seeing yourself ever doing that? Like 14 cats? How crazy is that?
No, that's like too many. Just because like same thing, like what I just said about a dog. I don't think I could. I like, just me personally, I don't think I could handle that many cats. But I'm absolutely a crazy cat lady. Yeah. Like, I only have one cat, but like I'm totally a crazy cat lady, and I plan to be forever. I mean, like my cat's never going to go anywhere, so that's, you know, a different thing. That's a different thing to unpack at a later time. But yeah, fuck yeah, I'm definitely a crazy cat lady. I think I don't know. I think there's got to be a cap, though. I think there's got to be a number,
a limit, right? A limit, 2, 3.
Yeah, max. Yeah. I think 3 would be like my personal number. But like, I live in a small apartment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if I had a big ass house, I don't know, that number might go up. That number might change. It's possible. Like, my shit's already, all of my clothes are covered in cat hair at all times.
Yeah.
I feel like I keep seeing like tufts of floof hair just everywhere, like around, you know? They're like, they get on my face. I mean, I did kiss her.
Yeah.
But I'm not allergic or anything, but she has very long hair and she sheds.
Yeah.
I mean, most animals shed. So
the floof.
It's something to get used to.
Yeah. Your love for music, man. Where does it stem from? What kind of music you jam out to these days?
I jam out to so much music. There's not really a favorite type. Yeah. I am not genre specific. I listen to old music, new music, you know, rock music, hip hop, R&B. Not a huge country fan, but I'm not going to like rule out country.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I listen to a lot of like Americana and folk rock, which gets its roots, I would say, from country music. And I don't know. It's just like my whole life. I've always used music, I guess, like as an outlet.
An escape. Yeah.
Like just for everything. I feel like there's, no matter the mood you're in or what you're doing or whatever, like there's a song for that. There's a song for that, whether it has lyrics or not. Like, there's just like always a thing. Like, I went to yoga class this morning. They're always playing music in there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just have always really loved music.
Right.
Unfortunately, I don't really have a great talent for music other than having a good ear for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very lucky to like be able to work in a field that I am passionate about without having any actual talent for said field.
What makes the 80s so special? We always talk about that. Me, you love the 80s. What makes it so special?
I don't know, man. Time? I wasn't even around for all of the 80s, but I just feel like I don't know. It just like I guess every generation probably feels this way about like the time that they came from.
They came up, right? Yeah.
You know?
But I don't know what it is. It's music. Something about it that jam. You can hear those jams like for 30 years ago, and it just hits you. And you're like, I remember where I was. I remember what I was doing 100%. At that time. Yeah,
100%. I love 80s music, like so much of it. There's very little that I dislike.
Yeah.
And the neon colors and the outfits. To be honest with you, I'm just like really into it. I'm into the 90s too. I host a 90s radio show.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I think they're both great. I do think the aesthetic in the 80s was better than that 90s. Of the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, I dress like it's the 90s still right now, but I do really enjoy those bright colors. I mean, I'm usually in dark flannels and docs, so I am a child of my generation, but I don't know. I like the double collar pop. Yeah. And I just really enjoy the aesthetic. I think it was a fun time.
Yeah. Favorite rock group band of all time? Who's your favorite?
I mean, that's such a hard question. I really think it varies by the day, by my mood, really. I have so many favorites. Like, it's hard to sit here and not say stuff like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. Like, those are things that I grew up listening to that I still listen to, like, extremely regularly.
Right.
Like, extremely regularly.
Yeah.
So, like, those are probably up there, but, like, I'm a big Limp Bizkit fan. I'm a big Bloodhound Gang fan. Yeah. I'm a big, like, then there's, like, a lot of new bands that I really love, too.
Right.
I don't know. It's like, there's not really, it's hard limit does not exist, you know?
Right.
There's a lot of great music. ELO. I think ELO is probably definitely in my top 3. Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't think they have a bad song. I don't think that they have a bad song. Genuinely. Like, I missed Jeff Lynne touring ELO this past year.
Wow.
And I will never forgive myself for it. I don't know if he's ever going to tour again. Right. But if he does, like, I almost flew to Chicago.
To see him.
To see it. Yeah. Wow. So I don't know. But, like, it really depends on the day. Like, for real. Like, Glass Animals is one of my current favorite bands. I've seen them every time they've come to New York.
Wow.
I'm very, very, very lucky. I got to go to their album listening party before they released their last album.
Wow.
But I think that's such a hard question to ask. I genuinely don't think I can answer that question.
Yeah.
It varies. There's just too much.
It's just too
much.
Too
much music that I love that I can't, like, say one is better than the other. It's like a different vibe, you know?
Yeah. You love concerts, big concert goer. How many concerts have you been to, you think, in your lifetime?
I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to, like, figure it out recently, and I can't. Like, a lot. Like, I went to, I lost, like, count, but I went to more than 45 last year.
Wow.
That was probably the biggest concert year of my life, 2024. I don't know how or why that happened.
Right.
But it just worked out that way.
Right.
But I've been to a lot of concerts. My first concert was Aerosmith, and Fuel opened for them. Big Fuel fan as well.
Nice.
And I was 13. So that's, like, my first concert that I remember. And I went with, like, a friend of mine and her older brother. It's like our supervision. It was up at SPAC, Saratoga Performing Arts Center. And then my first, like, unsupervised concert was the Allman Brothers at the Beacon the next year I was 14. I can't remember what year it was. 2000? I guess it was 2000.
2000? Man,
and I brought 7 friends with me. The 8 of us rolled down to the Beacon. And I went to the Allman Brothers, like, I think 5 years in a row. I also went to, like, 6 consecutive summer jams, though.
Oh, summer jam. Really? You went to summer jam?
A lot of summer
That was
jams.
A thing back in the day. That was the party to be.
It's whack now.
But, like, it's whack.
It was really cool.
Back in the day was cool. Yeah.
I was at the summer jam, asked Nancy about this. Nancy and my friend Amanda, like, saved my life because we were at the summer jam with G Unit.
Oh.
And, like, something happened. Some dude, like, threw a water bottle at 50 Cent. And 50 Cent, like, did not budge. And his security caught that water bottle. And, like, he, like, threw it back in the crowd or whatever. And, like, it was at Giant Stadium, at MetLife Stadium, whatever. And the whole floor was just, like, folding chairs that were zip tied together. Wow. So, like, something happened in the crowd when that happened. And, like, dude tried to, like, pick up a chair and throw it. And, like, all the chairs are connected.
Yeah.
So, like, we were standing on our chairs. And, like, it was pandemonium. My friend lost her shoe. I went, like, flying in the air. One of my
Wow.
friends, I don't know if it was Nancy or Amanda, like I remember like had me by the ankle and like I was like airborne. And like,
Jeez.
but when we all like settled down, like
Right.
there was just like piles of chairs. And I remember like looking at my friends and we just like ran up to the stage. So I
Nice.
was like real close to Lloyd Banks and I
Yeah.
was really excited. I feel like he made eye contact with me. It was a whole thing.
That's the whole
This
thing.
was a lot of years ago though. And
Yeah.
I went to like a lot of summer jams. They stopped serving alcohol at summer jam.
Now they don't.
One of the last ones I went to, which was, I don't know, it had to be more than, like, it was at least 15 years ago,
Right.
maybe more than that. Definitely more than that. Definitely more than that.
Wow.
I really wish I could remember what year it was. I think it was the year that Kanye West came out with Jay-Z.
Okay. Okay.
And I was on like a pot smoking hiatus. So I was like, well, whatever, I'm going to a concert. Like, I'll just have a couple beers. Like,
Right.
and then I got there and they were like, yeah, no, this is a dry menu, no alcohol. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to start smoking pot again. And I did. Yeah.
I know you love rap music. Favorite rapper of all time? You got a top 5 rapper list for us today?
Yes, but just like my favorite rock band, that's a really hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up listening to like a lot of like A Tribe Called Quest. And when I, became like an adolescent and a teenager, it was like a really good time. I listened to a lot of Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a lot of Nas too,
Nas.
even though,
love Nas.
But like I have to say, like probably like I'm a Notorious B.I.G. Just a few days ago, it's his anniversary.
Yeah,
for Wallace,
crazy.
so R.I.P.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, that's just as hard of a question to me as like my favorite rock band.
Yeah.
I have it's a long list. I'd say Biggie's definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Q-Tip fan.
I
do. Like, I love A Tribe Called Quest. Yeah. I got to see them a few years ago at Panorama in the city.
How dope was that?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was one of those, like, I don't know. It was like a life-changing experience for me because, like, I wanted it for so long. Right. And, I didn't think I'd ever get the opportunity.
Finally happened.
And I did. And it was really dope. They did not
awesome.
disappoint at all.
Any songs that make you feel a certain way, takes you back to a certain point in time of your life? Any like one or two songs?
Many.
Yeah.
So many. I feel like every single song that I like and listen to is associated with some kind of memory.
Yeah. Right.
I feel like a lot of them do have like nostalgia to them. My aunt and my mother, like, I don't know. I listened to a lot of different kinds of music growing up because my aunt was like very big into like 80s metal and classic rock and stuff like that. And then my mother was like big into hip hop and R&B. So like I listened to all of that stuff when I was like a kid
growing
up. And then my grandmother listened to Frank Sinatra and Elvis and like all that shit. So like I listened to that as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like there's a close association with every song. Like my aunt was a big fan of The Cure. I'm still a big fan of The Cure. I've seen The Cure live.
Right.
Robert Smith is supposed to tour this year, so I will go see him again for sure. But there's like a lot. What's one? I'll give you a good one.
Yeah.
The song "Strike It Up."
Strike It Up
by Black Box.
Okay.
That reminds me of my childhood for sure. I had it on vinyl. I used to listen to it very regularly. Yeah. I like fuck that vinyl up. I listen to it so much.
But like, great.
There's so many though. Like I feel like there's not a song that I don't associate with the time in my life that I discovered it.
Right.
Not necessarily when it, like like I've been listening to Pink Floyd since I was a kid because my aunt was a big Pink Floyd fan. But like, I remember the first time I listened to Dark Side of the Moon start to finish.
Right.
And I was probably like 13 or 14 thinking I was like so cool. And so there's just a lot of I don't know. I feel like there's a lot
There's a lot going on there. How many more concerts you got planned on going to this year? You're still young, right? We're only in March right now.
Definitely. So. I was actually just telling somebody last night that I've not been to enough concerts this year. I've only been to like 4, and one of them got blackout drunk at, not on purpose.
Right.
I have a show coming up on the 21st, I think. And then I have one on April 4th that I'm really excited about.
Right.
I've got a lot in the books for this year. So we'll see. The summertime's going to be difficult. Actually, like spring, summer, there's a lot. But we're also like very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Like not everybody lives near, one of the most
proximity. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we live like right next to the fucking city. Like there's always a show. Like there's so many venues and so many people come to play here.
Right.
And like, forget about it. Like when you want to talk about like the Garden and stuff like that, to see artists for their first time at the Garden.
Yeah.
There's little else that can replicate that.
Right.
I mean, I saw Glass Animals their first time at the Garden. Hozier, his first time at the Garden.
Oh, I love Hozier. Church. Oh my goodness. Wow.
He brought his dad out to play drums with him.
Wow.
And he was just like, I've never seen somebody not excited to be playing the world's most famous arena. Like it's just, but like I go to a lot of venues in Brooklyn. I go to a lot of these like small venues in Brooklyn. I talk a lot of shit about gentrified Brooklyn, but I'm there very often. But it's like really nice. Like I like to go to a small venue because it's like a more intimate show. Like
you
get like you're gonna have a better view no matter where you are because there's only 250 people in the building.
Correct.
But then at the same time, I like love going to the Garden. Like that's not something that you can replicate really everywhere. Maybe all the major cities, but I don't know. I just think it's really special that we have so much access to live music.
Right.
And I feel like I have to do my due diligence and take advantage of that.
Yeah, sure. Well said. Well said. You're an avid book reader. Kids these days, right? They have like no clue. Everything's on a phone or a tablet. How do you maintain your love for reading these days for so long? What type of books do you read?
I read a lot of like true crime and a lot of horror books, just like the same kind of TV I watch.
Right.
I don't know. I think I've definitely like taken hiatuses. Is that a word?
Maybe like every now and then you'll start and you'll stop and you'll just take a little break
and like I happened to catch like the last half of the movie on TV the other day of Gone Girl.
Okay.
And like I remember I hadn't like been reading as avidly as I normally used to. And then I read that book. And I mean years and years ago when it came out. And I just like it like reignited my love for reading, and I was like, "Holy shit, that book was so good!"
It's
and
like
then
it's like a lost art.
All her books.
It's like a lost art. Reading is right. I think it's fascinating. People read.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to admit, I do have a Kindle. I do love my Kindle. I have a lot of like regular books as well, but there is something nice about like, especially if you're like reading a series or something like that, and like let's say it's like 2:00 in the morning and you finish it.
Right.
You could be like on your couch and just like, boom, buy the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, I guess is like a good and a bad thing. But I do both. I read real books, then I read the Kindle. I try not to bring the Kindle to the beach because, like it's an electronic. You get sand in that shit, you fuck it up. So, but yeah, I don't know. I watch a lot of horror movies. I watch a lot of like true crime TV, and I like to read the same things. And like, I feel like it's the same. I feel like reading a book for me anyway is very akin to watching a movie, you know, it's probably better for your brain.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better for your brain and your vocabulary, I guess. They say that you're supposed to read something calm before bed. So I don't really do that per se, but I do try to like read before bed. Like I just read this book called Sleep Tight.
Okay.
I cannot remember the name of the author, unfortunately, but it was great. It was really great. And sometimes when you read stuff like that, you wind up, just like it's a page turner. You like can't go to bed because you're like, oh shit, I got to know what happens. Yeah. I don't know. So I just enjoy that aspect of it.
What's your favorite book you ever read? How long did it take you to read that book? Pretty quickly, pretty fast?
I mean, that's like the music question, Ken. That's a hard one. I feel like there's a lot. Right. I really, really, really enjoy the book Everything Matters.
Okay.
It's like a mind fuck for sure.
Right.
But I think one of the best books I've ever read is The Drawing of Three from Stephen King. It's
Okay.
like in the Dark Tower series.
Horror movie, horror flick, horror.
It's like more of like a sci-fi venture. There's
Okay.
a lot of Stephen King fans that do not care for the Dark Tower books. And I get it. But like my car is named after the gunslinger, so I enjoy them a lot. Not those movies. Those movies are atrocious. They have don't watch the movies. Don't watch the movies and then associate that with the book. But The Drawing of Three is for sure like one of the best books I've ever read. I happen to be like, it's like on my bookshelf, so it caught my eye.
Right.
But yeah, Everything Matters. I can't remember his name either, the author, but I love it. It's like a mind fuck for sure. And Emily Giffin, that Gone Girl, and all her other books.
Right.
Dark Places. The other one that they made a HBO show out of that I can't remember the title of, but she's wonderful. She's disturbed. She's messed up in the head and in the best possible way.
Wow. You ever join a book club? Fictional character would you love to be friends with?
I have never joined a book club. I feel like I should. Join a book club or start a book club or something like that.
Right.
I don't know a fictional character that I would like to be.
Any books ever had like a big impact on you at all throughout the years?
Yeah, so many.
Yeah.
So many. That Everything Matters book definitely messed my head up for a short while. Augustin Burroughs wrote this book. It's called like How to something, and like that one did a number on me for a long time. But like in a good way,
Right.
Both of those things in a good way. Also, that girl's name is Gillian Flynn, not Emily Giffin. She's a different author, but Gillian Flynn's books, all of them. Have you seen the movie Gone Girl?
I've never seen it before. I've heard of it before. I've never seen it before.
Are you serious?
Yeah, never. I gotta write that down. I'll write it down.
Oh my God. Don't let anybody spoil it for you.
Okay.
And Ben Affleck's great in that movie. Just like shockingly good.
Shockingly good. What's your ideal reading environment? Quiet, loud, alone? How do you read?
I can read anywhere.
Yeah.
I can read. Yeah. I can listen to music and read. I prefer to be outside if that's available to me. Like obviously if it's, weather permitting, like it has to be like nice enough that you're not fucking cold. But like I live in a very aesthetically pleasing area. So I like to like be by a body of water outside with some headphones on. Is probably like my ideal reading environment.
Yeah. Is it true what they say? Looking back, we always see these reading is fundamental. You believe that still to this day?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think everybody should read. And like, just like music, the beautiful thing about reading is like you can find something that you like. Like we don't have to agree on it. We don't have to like the same things. But there is for shit sure something for you. There's definitely something that you will like, like not everybody likes horror and true crime, obviously. Right. But like if you like comedy, if you like drama, if you like,
sports,
smut,
stars,
like there's so many things. Like there's so many things that you'll find one. You'll find something that you like for sure.
Who's a big reader? Gabby R. we work with. She reads all the time.
I love Gabby. Yes, she does. She reads far more than I do.
Yeah.
Far more than I do.
She also works in a library too, right? But
I know, which is amazing.
Amazing.
That's what she wanted to do, and that's what she does.
Every time I see it, I'm like, it's a lost art because people just don't read anymore. You just don't see that anymore. It's just weird.
Which is sad. We should see that. Like people should read more.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like people should be reading more.
Yeah, for sure.
But like it's so easy to just get sucked into the TV or the Netflix show or whatever it is that you're doing.
Social media,
Reading does take some more brain power, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know. I think everybody should read.
You don't even see newspapers anymore, right? I mean,
what?
Newspapers. You don't even see those anymore. Newspapers.
Oh no, definitely not. I have like the Times on my phone. I read it on
phone.
my phone.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm one of those people. Like I read it on my phone.
Yeah.
I have the Kindle app on my phone too. So like if you're ever, somewhere out, like let's say you're on the train and the train gets stuck,
right.
You can't really say that you're ever without a book now because of technology.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of people that don't care for the app and the Kindle in general, which is totally fine.
Right.
But, the only constant in life is change. So
that's it.
Got to keep up with the times. Got to keep up with the technology.
How do you choose which book to read next? How does that work for you?
For me, I do have author loyalty. So, like, I'm a Stephen King fan. I'll read anything the man writes. It's not all great, but I'll still read it anyway.
Yeah.
And then I am just like, if you have a cover or a title that is appealing to me, I'll pick your book up.
Yeah.
I'll definitely pick it up. I'll read, like, I'm not so much of like a back of the book reader. Like, I'm not going to read like the blurb on the back, but I'll open it up and read like the first couple pages.
Okay.
And if if it like strikes me as interesting or something like that, then I'll go for it. That's how I read this last book.
Okay.
The Sleep Tight book.
The Sleep Tight book. Yeah.
I didn't know the author. I didn't really know anything about it. And I just I heard it was a good horror book. Right. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Yeah. And I downloaded the sample on my Kindle for free. And I read the first, whatever it was, 15 pages. And I was hooked. I was like, yeah, I want to know. It's like when you catch the beginning of an episode of Law and Order.
Yeah.
You know, you catch that opening of Law and Order and you're like, well, now I got to find out. Now I got to watch the whole thing. Got to see it go to trial.
Right. Any advice for kids about reading, what they should do about reading, what to do, what not to do when it comes to reading? Why is it so important?
I don't think there's any not to do. I think you should always just read, just find something that you like to read and read it. And that's about it. I don't know what the idiom is exactly, but you're never without company if you got a good book around. It's
that's true.
Free entertainment. And well, not free. I guess you have to pay for the book.
For the book, obviously, yeah.
Well, there's libraries and things like that. You can get a book for free, for sure.
For sure.
And I don't know. It's just, you should definitely read. Find something that you like to read. Even I've read The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Graphic novels. Called them comic books for a long time, but they're graphic novels.
Right.
But those are great. You know what I mean? I think they're great books. They're fun. People have I don't know. I guess they're stereotypes when it comes to comic books because of the illustrations, but still a book technically,
Sure.
But if that's what you like to read, then fucking read that, read whatever you want. Read something that appeals to you, that you find interesting.
Right.
Whether it's fiction, nonfiction, whatever, I wish I enjoyed nonfiction more.
Right.
But sadly I don't, I mean, I'll read certain things that are nonfiction, but for the most part, I'm just reading
fiction.
A lot of horror stuff, honestly. That's what I read. Do you remember the show True Blood?
I do remember True Blood, yeah.
I read all those books. I loved those books. Wow. Yeah, that was a great book series. That Pretty Little Liars. Pretty Little Liars was an amazing book series.
Yeah.
Both of those shows destroyed the actual book series, I think. It's my personal opinion. But it's nice to be able to do the comparison. So I would just suggest finding your niche and sticking to it, and definitely always reading, because why not? Yeah.
She's Megan White, lifelong Mets fan, Giants, Rangers, bartender, radio host at 107 The Peak, avid book reader. 107.1 The Peak. How did that come about? How cool is that job, the radio job?
It's so cool. And I just keep showing up for the job and they keep letting me do it. So really solid 10 out of 10. I'm very lucky. I'm just a very, very lucky person in all aspects of my life, including that one, because I have worked at the Capitol since we reopened in 2012, September 4th, 2012, to get specific. Mm-hmm. And so I met our program directors and stuff just from coming to shows at the Capitol. I think it was maybe one of the peak birthday shows, which our peak birthday shows are coming up. They're going to be in mid-May this year. It's our 21st birthday, 107.1 The Peak. Happy 21st birthday. Happy almost 21st birthday. Cool. But yeah, I became friendly with the guys that are on the air and do all the program directing. And one day the girl that used to do the 90s show like couldn't do it any longer, and they were like, hey, like we need somebody for the 90s show, like do you have any interest? And I was like, I mean, I've got plenty of interest but no experience.
Right.
They were like, well, come on in, we'll do a little like training session. And so I did. And Coach, who you've met, my buddy Coach, he's the assistant program director and the morning man on 107.1 The Peak, like showed me the ropes, showed me how to do it, sat in the studio with me, kind of like gave me the play-by-play.
Right.
And we did it. And they were like, all right, good job. Like, come back again next week. We'll try it again. And I was like, all right. So I did. I went back next week and they were like, all right, we're just going to like leave you alone. We're going to like leave you in the room by yourself. And, you know, if you got any questions, we're right out here. So just come out. And I was like, all right, cool. And so I did it. And like when I was done, they were like, we were listening to you in real time and like, good job. You're hired.
Nice.
And I don't know. I still feel like almost like a disassociation because, like I said, I keep showing up for that job and they keep letting me do it. Yeah. And I'll be riding that until the wheels fall off for sure.
How many days is the gig? A couple days a week?
I'm on 6 nights a week.
6 nights a week.
Yeah. Monday through Friday, I do our new music show. This just in at 9 p.m. So it's all like new stuff, which is really cool.
Right.
And it's nice because like I discover a lot of new music very early. Yeah. And then Saturdays, I still do the 90s show at 8 p.m. where it's just like 2 hours of what I call feeling old on the 90s at night. It's a lot of like nostalgia.
Take us back when you first auditioned to now. What'd you learn? Any takeaways? Any advice?
So much. But I genuinely, I know this kind of sounds like cheesy and cliche, but like I feel like I learn more stuff all the time. The time. Whether it be, sorry, my cat is stuck on my headphone case.
Okay.
Whether it is just like me learning how to more eloquently speak about something specific. Like I remember when the Foo Fighters drummer passed away.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we had to talk about that on the air. And I was like nervous to, are you still stuck? I was nervous to like discuss that because, you know, it's a sensitive topic.
Yeah.
But I asked for some advice where I needed it. And, you know, I was able to get it done in a way that I think was tasteful, and like not offensive. Okay.
That's
She's
awesome.
good.
She's good.
Tasteful and not offensive. And, you know, it's a really sad thing. So to like have to speak about tragedy that you're not involved in, it's like, you know, it's tough. It's a weird position to be in. Especially when you feel like, I remember being like nervous about it because I felt like I was like delivering this news to people. You know, there like might have been people that hadn't heard, and you know, like the Foo Fighters might be your favorite band. Like maybe, you know, so I don't know. I just feel like it's a sensitive subject. Oftentimes this happens because life keeps happening, you know, so sometimes you got to talk about stuff that is not ideal.
Yeah.
But, you know, gotta
get through it some way.
The listeners, you got, let people know what's up.
Yeah, for sure. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions here today?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
First time you tried marijuana was?
I think the first time I tried it, I was probably like 12. I didn't enjoy it the first time. Yeah. I smoked a joint with David Riley.
Okay.
I was in middle school, definitely. But then I started smoking avidly, I'd say at like 13 or 14.
Wow. Back then. Wow.
Yeah.
If Bob Marley was alive today.
Well, I wish Bob Marley were alive today. I bet you he's a real fun person to get high with.
Would you smoke with him? Smoke with Bob?
Of course. I smoked at his mausoleum.
Did you really?
Yeah. When you visit there, they encourage you to do that.
Oh, okay.
They encourage you to do that. They're like, light them up. And you're like, all right, shit. Well, like, that's why we came here, right?
Legalization of marijuana made you feel?
I thought it was great. I think it's great. I think that it should be federally legal, or at least like decriminalized federally. But I think it's wonderful. I think that it's crazy that alcohol is legal and widely accepted, and marijuana, I feel like, is much less dangerous and just so like demonized. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. First kiss. When was your first kiss?
Think I was like my first kiss. I was like in 5th grade, but like I don't really count that. So like my first kiss that I count in my life, I was 13.
13. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of things happen around 13.
Yeah. You ever see that movie? The movie 13?
I never seen it. Yeah.
My life wasn't that bad, but similar.
Favorite color?
I mean, black, but if black is not an acceptable answer, pink.
Okay. Pink. Did you go to prom?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. And yesterday or 2 days ago was National Promposal Day.
Oh, boy.
If you did not know that, but I have never been to a prom.
Never. Wow.
Nope.
Favorite season? Fall, winter, spring, summer?
Fall.
Okay. Fall for sure. Okay.
Autumn. We should say autumn.
Autumn. Okay. Any fears in life, if any?
So many. So yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm an alive human. Of course I have fears. I'm afraid of so many things. I hate bugs. I do not like bugs. I don't like birds.
Really?
I don't love birds. I just think I don't like anything that has the ability to fly at me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's an advantage that I can't compete with, and I don't care for it. Yeah. I don't care for it. But yeah, a lot of fears.
One dish you can bring back from the CCF menu: bistro pasta, the combos, crispy, spicy beef.
Oh man, that's a fucking tough one.
The 30th cheesecake
burger, the Ranch House Burger. Sorry to my best friend that's a vegan, but the Ranch House Burger for sure.
Ranch House Burger. What's your favorite choice of drink these days? Beer, wine, mixed drinks. What's your favorite choice of drinks these days? Yeah,
I feel like you know the answer to this, Kenford, but it's whiskey. It's neat whiskey. It's neat whiskey for sure. And like honestly, not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You can call me a basic bitch if you want. I'm really into like the spiked seltzers. I like those spiked iced teas.
Yeah.
The Sun Cruisers and the Surfsides. Right. That's what's up. Love those.
Not big into beer at all? Yeah.
I used to be a huge beer drinker. And then like they started making these spiked seltzers and these spiced iced teas. Like every once in a while, I am in the mood for a beer.
Okay.
And like I like a hazy IPA or a hazy pale ale. That's my beer of choice.
Your go-to. Ever getting married sometime down the road? Ever want kids one day?
I don't want kids. I think that marriage is for tax purposes, really, but like I'm not opposed to it. You know what I mean? Like I think that partnership is something to be valued. I am definitely into that. So I'm not against that. I do not want children though. Okay. I think the world's overpopulated. I think no offense to all of my friends that are mothers and fathers.
Yeah.
That's just not for me. I'll get some more cats, you know? So
cat lady. 10 years from now, what will you be doing 10 years from now? Working? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
I mean, I say this a lot that like, even if I won the lottery, like, I don't think I'd quit my job. You know?
No? Ever?
No.
Okay.
No, I think I might like scale back my hours and I would definitely take some long vacations.
Travel the world, bucket list stuff.
100%. 100%. But like 10 years from now, I hope to be doing the same shit that I do right now. You know, I want to just enjoy life. I want to travel. I want to go to concerts. I want to discover new music. I want to enjoy a nice day. You know?
Any shout outs today you want to give people listening? You want to give anything? Any shout outs? Anything you want to say to anybody out there?
I feel like I've given several shout outs already. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any like specific shout outs, but thanks for listening.
Yeah.
That could be the general shout out. It's like, thanks for tuning in. I say that often.
Are you going to keep these gigs? I mean, 4 jobs is a lot, Meg. You got to slow down a little bit, right? Enjoy life a little bit more. What do you think?
I don't know. I really do believe in that whole, like, people are like bicycles. It's almost Einstein's birthday. Tomorrow's Einstein's birthday.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And people are like bicycles. We can keep our balance only while in motion.
Yeah.
You know, idle hands, devil's work, all that. That's why I say, like, if I won the lottery, I probably wouldn't quit my job.
Right.
because I think it's good to have something to do and some sense of purpose. Like maybe I would explore like new jobs, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, yoga has really been kicking my ass. I'll tell you that. But if I had all the time and the money in the world, I would go to one of those like yoga teacher trainings.
Yeah.
More selfishly, like more for me, just so that I would be better at like something that I enjoy doing. But you know,
this yoga thing, you're gonna stick this out, right? This is here to stay. This is not going away.
100%. I feel like I'm out of practice. You know, my friend Kat. Give a shout out to my friend Kat Suda. She's an amazing yoga teacher.
Okay.
I don't even think I'll ever be as close to where she is, but like I used to practice more, and then I've been out of practice for a little while, and it's been really, really, really nice to get back into it. So like shout out to Chelsea and Gianna too for like sticking it out and coming to these classes. Like we've hit a really good thing. We're gonna definitely keep doing it.
Martha G also too. You forgot Martha.
Yes, yeah. And I just want you to know that Martha
wouldn't let that down.
Too. Martha said she was sore too, which gave me a lot of validation. I felt I was like, I knew it. I knew that shit was hard.
Yeah. Crazy time we're living in right now, right? 2025, a lot of things going on in the world. Any advice for humanity right now? Bring us all together. What would you say to humanity these days?
I don't know. I guess fucking be nice to people, man. Be nice to each other.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. But I mean, there's always a lot of crazy things going on.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a time that there hasn't been crazy things going on, but
yeah.
You know, I mean, this is probably rich coming from me, but like be kind. Be kind to other people, you know.
Hey, absolute pleasure having you on today's show.
So fun. I'm glad we got to do it.
Yeah, keep doing your thing. Keep busy. Stay busy, like you always say.
That's good advice for humanity too.
Yeah, just be kind. Just be kind. Just be nice. Just be a nice human being to everybody. Yeah, I'm glad we got to do the show. We finally did it. It took us a while, but we did it. We did it. We
like
determined.
2 weeks in the making, at least, right?
Yeah,
we got it done.
Yeah, she's Megan White, everybody. Meg, pleasure having you on today. Appreciate
Thank
you
so much. I appreciate you.
I will see you in a couple of hours.
See you in a couple hours.
Yeah.
I'm running like 10 to 15 minutes late. Just
oh, you'll be late. Okay.
Just FYI.
You're the best. Thank you so much, Meg. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you.
We did it. Are we still recording?
We did it. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did it.
Nice.
That was good. That was good.